psychic intellect and made you my puppet.
It's a bullseye! And here's your host, Jim Boyd!
Perhaps today is a good day to die. Prepare for running speed!
Sir, there's another starship coming in. It's the Enterprise.
Bone, your shoulder bone connected to you. Neck bone, your neck bone connected to you. Head bone, now hear the word of the Lord. Them bones gonna walk around.
Take evasive action. Green food. Skip across the holding sector of each other.
Admiral, we have enemy ships in Sector 47.
It's a trap.
.007 Triple X.
Bond, what do you think you're doing?
Keeping the British end up, sir.
Nobody does.
Sorry if I scared you. You'll like this bit.
Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, Game God, good morning. You will indeed like this bit. This bit will last a good hour and a half, 2 hours. And boy, what a bit it will be. It will be a bit that makes you go, ooh, I was just thinking, I am not so blessed, right? But let's say your significant other was also a geek, right? Would you be able to? I mean, in chat, if you have a significant other, geeky significant other, maybe you can answer me. Would you be able to use genre euphemism? Let's say, you're in bed with your good lady wife or spouse or whoever, and just like Lieutenant Wolf said in the that bit from Star Trek Generation, prepare for ramming speed, and we all know what he meant. Oh yes, would that be a good code word, a good segue into sweet lovemaking? I don't know. See, I actually married my wife. I think, is it because of this? Yeah, probably. If you trace it all the way back. Okay, so Jewish dating's different, right? Religious Jewish dating, especially in the 90s. Nowadays it's different again, but how it used to happen, you would go to a matchmaker, right? Really? Yeah, there was all these matchmakers around. Matchmaker, make me a match. Literally, it was just like that, right? And you'll go and meet with them, and some of them charge you a lot of money, and some didn't, right? So I met with a bunch of men. Like, religious dating is in Jerusalem. You would meet in a hotel lobby. So if you ever go to Jerusalem, you'll see lots of reasonably nervous-looking young men in black hats in hotel lobbies with rather nicely dressed young ladies, right? And you don't touch each other until you get married, right? And you just sit in the lobby, have some tea, and you talk, right? Yeah. Do I have them over here? I made no, I don't upstairs. I made for my wife because after the first date, I was like, oh, I quite like this person. Normally, when you go on one of these dates, they're like blind dates, especially. You're set up, right? And it's like in the first second, right? If you're like, so if I like the girl, right, which is unusual, I would get a taxi back to I was in yeshiva, rabbinical ceremony. The girls are normally in they're called seminary, and I would get a taxi back with them. And although I was sitting in the front there in the back because we're not allowed to touch each other, there's all this and it got a bit weird, right? I kind of stopped with that after a while. But anyway, so that's if I like. If I didn't like them, I'll walk them to the bus stop. Oh man, I went on some. Anyway, my first date with my wife, right? We were at the King David Hotel, which is kind of swanky. I like the King David, and. You order drink. The waitress, whoever comes over, asks me if you like anything, and I said, yeah, I'll take a coffee or a tea. I'll take a coffee probably, right? And my wife, right, without realizing what she was saying, and this is the incredible way God puts words in your mouth. She said, tea, Earl Grey, hot. I was like, wait, what? Wait, is this a Star Trek fan in front of me? Do my eyes deceive me? No, but that's what made me fall in love with her. Right there and there. I decided I wanted to marry her on that first date. And we got engaged like 3 weeks later. We got married about 3 months after that. And amazingly, it still worked. But what was going through her mind? She said she wanted tea, right? It was in February we had our first date. So it was cold out. Said tea. And then because she's from the South, she was say, oh, no, I meant in her head. She's like, I meant like, not sweet tea. Not, I meant, hot tea. So she said, oh, great. Right, because she knows that's like you only have hot. But then she thought she wasn't clear enough, so she said hot, right? And the rest is history. And we've married since how many years is it now? Like coming up to we got married in '96, right? We got married right after. Was it right before, or right after? I thought, we got married right after the Paul McGann movie. So I date everything. I can remember my youngest daughter's birthday because it's 2 days before the anniversary of Doctor Who. That's the sort of thing. Actually, this is how I got it worked out, right? I got my first daughter. Her birthday is May 30th. So the first one I can remember, right? And the second one was really easy to remember. My son, 9 months later, literally not 9 months later, 11 months later, my wife got pregnant like the earliest opportunity humanly possible. He was born on May 3rd. So, 30 and 3, easy to remember. What makes it even easier is my birthday is August 3rd, which is 9 months before this. So that always makes me laugh. It does always make me laugh. Right, but the other two, my other kids, I had trouble remembering. So my daughter, I finally worked out her birthday when it was November 21st. I'm like, 2 days before Doctor Who, and my other son, who's in the midst of, he's home from. I feel so proud for this kid. Right, he's home from the war right now. Right, and which war? It's a war in the south, not the one in the north. We're not a big country. And like he's being schlepped around to do all this like stuff for his wedding. I was like, man, let the poor kid like rest. Right? No. So finally, he went and got his suit today. And okay, this is what it was like all of Sabbath, right? Literally all of Sabbath. My wife sent me a picture to get my opinion. No, I'm like, do I want to share this? And I thought, actually, I do. It's funny. Where is it? No, 1 second. Chrome tab, WhatsApp. There you go. So it says, look, this is just a fashion of the age. Nobody goes for dark suits anymore, right? It's all light suits. So that's the suit he was slipped around to pick out today. And is this the same one or a different one? They look identical to me. I don't know. It looks pretty much the same. I don't know what to tell you. Look. His fiance is young and very fashion conscious, right? So she treats him a lot like he's a little dolly, right? Like he can dress up. So anyway, to respond to that, my older son. Okay, the officer, right? The tank commander. Then posted this. well, I didn't even see the note he posted. What's it say? Tagid ma ata homo. Why are you dressed as a homo? To which this son replied, well, that's not bad. To which my other son replied with this. I rate it. No. Like, really? And this was a picture. He literally took a picture from Gaza. He took a picture. See, this is what it's like, okay? You don't understand what being in a war is like in Israel, okay? This is what it's like, right? And again, this guy, his brother is married. He's a whole... This is what it was like all of Sabbath when they were home together. They had this like knockout fight to see. I couldn't work out why they were fighting to bring chairs. We had we need to bring chairs from the kitchen because we had a lot of people for Sabbath. So for some reason they thought whoever brought the chairs in doesn't have to do the dishwasher. I'm like, look, I'll do the dishwasher. What's a big bloody deal? It won't take long. But yeah. So do you want to know what life during wartime is like? Much like this. Much like this. We live in strange times, ladies and gentlemen. We live in very, very strange times. Hey, speaking of strange times we live in, man, Jews in England. You gotta get out of there. Are you out of your bloody mind? I just realized that I looked at Starmer's cabinet and it was bad when they had what's his name again? What's the mayor of London called? Jew-hating Jew. Sadiq Khan, right? Sadiq Khan, where very, very concerned about the dignity of Muslims, doesn't mind Jews being scared off the streets. Jews in England. It's time to leave, arseholes. Really? Really? I mean, I don't know. I'm doing a website right now. I do one of my daytime jobs is I do websites for his client, who's doing a Holocaust educational group, right? Organization. And so I'm listening to these different testaments from the Holocaust. As one today really, really struck me is when they the SS came into their town in Plotsk or somewhere in, I don't know where it was. They randomly pulled out 200 Jews and just shot them in the wood, right? Took them out to the wood and shoot them, and it was all done very methodically to make you scared, to make you not no idea what's going to happen next. And their job was basically just to intimidate and wipe out the Jews, right? That was that, and they were supposed to be there as a backup for the frontline forces, but the frontline forces never really needed them. So, this testament this guy gave me said when they did that, no one really believed it happened, right? No one really believed it happened. They're like, oh no, they were put in prison, or they were taken to a camp, or no one really believed it, and that's kind of just the way life is. I see the things now. I don't know. Look, listen. I mean, when you look at how there's two-tier policing in England, and boy, is it going to get so much more stark, right? Until this government falls, hopefully soon. Again, I'm hoping for World War III. Somebody in the comments said, "Stop hoping for World War III." Look, dude. Actually, the apocalypse will say, "Dude, it's your only freaking hope, right?" That's do you want there to be not bad Doctor Who anymore? Then you want the apocalypse, right? That's what you want there to be. No more awful Starfleet. They're actually scheduled the filming of Starfleet Academy, the Tilly spin-off, and they're casting it. I mean, they're paying people. Actually, who was that I saw got cast? I was like, well, that's quite a good actor, poor bastard. Star Trek Academy, Starfleet Academy cast. It was I just heard they added a new person in. I was like, oh, that's Holly Hunter. Obviously, is the what's the name? The director of the Starfleet Academy. 25. Who have they got here? Fine, we got Holly Hunter, Paul Giamatti. Right, I like Paul Giamatti. Man, I mean, I don't know. I can't imagine this is going to be any good. Alex Kurtzman's name as is Noga Landu. And I thought this was the Tilly show, right? I thought this was a show that was a further adventures of Tilly as she ate her way into oblivion. Not fast enough, apparently. Not fast enough. It's written by somebody who did Nancy Drew. Well, that's all going to work out well then, right? There's nothing going to go wrong with that. Paul Giamatti's in it. I was like, really? Man, he must need a new swimming pool. The Bidenomics are not working out well for the Hollywood elite. Anyway, so when you say they didn't really believe that, a lot of times you see things you just don't believe that they're happening. So check this out. This was it. I was going to talk about this last week, but just ran out of time. Honestly, it's getting more and more like Nuremberg every day. So this guy goes to get coffee and has, unfortunately, he's Jewish, right? Doesn't work out so well for him. Now, firstly, this must be a setup because they knew he was going to get kicked out because they filmed the whole thing, right? This must not be the first guy who got kicked out, and he's going in wearing a keeper very, one of these things very, very prominently.
Don't support Nazis, guys.
I cannot buy coffee.
Why?
Because I have a keeper. The owner should say I cannot buy a coffee.
Why?
I don't know. Because they recognize I'm Jewish.
Take your order right here. Do you want a coffee?
Why gonna decide? You're gonna decide or the owner gonna decide?
Like, again, it's kind of what? And this is coming to London if it's not already there. I mean, look, if you're wrong part of London and you're Orthodox Jewish, you're wearing a keeper, I wouldn't go into, like, the halal coffee merchant.
Who's gonna decide? You or the owner?
Why is he prohibited from buying coffee?
Who's gonna decide? I'm sorry. I have a question. Who's gonna make the decision? You or the owner?
Please just get off the phone.
Okay.
Why can't he buy coffee? Why can't he buy coffee?
Because I have a keeper.
Why can't he buy coffee? How disgusting.
I got him a coffee.
Yeah,
Oh, you got him one?
Wow. I mean, like,
This gentleman right here buy you a coffee.
This guy's totally a stand-up guy. Look at him. I'm very impressed.
Thank you so much. That's so sweet of you. What just happened?
I just went inside. The owner should say, I recognize the owner should say you can. All the employees, they say, yeah, you can, but the owner should say you have to get out.
Doesn't like the Jews much, right? It's incredible. October 7th happened. We get raped, murdered, all the atrocities known to man, and then it's those Jews' fault again. Really? I mean, like even without blinking. Anyway, so there was a postscript to this. Check this out.
Your bigotry, your Nazism knows no bounds. Shame on you. If you went to a mosque, that would be out.
It would have. This is the owner. It would have to be a Karen like this. Really? Really? I mean, it's like David Tennant saying, "I want to protect kids by sawing off their genitals." I mean, like, really?
If she went to a mosque, you would be outraged. Yet you are silent today. You are condoning her behavior.
The owner of Moro Cafe, Evelyn, doesn't demonstrate ever for any of the world atrocities committed within walking distance to Israel. The Arab slave trade of Africa. That part. Gays being thrown off.
I mean, in all fairness, that's not walking distance, mate, but okay.
Groups. That part. The massacres and murders in the Congo and Sudan and Somalia. Not one time did she come and demonstrate. But when it comes to Jews,
I love it when they see the moral high ground crumble beneath them. I just get the front expression on her face. She doesn't really like Jews, right? And here's the thing: you can't really tell who's who. Who's been swept up by the insanity and stupidity, and who is it who really just genuinely just doesn't like Jews?
she runs and blocks their place of worship. Shame on you! Shame on you!
Why is there always an LGBTQIA rainbow flag whenever there is a Hamas support? It's the weirdest thing, isn't it?
Why were you doing that? Why were you doing that?
We're cowards? We're confronting you, darling.
Why were you doing that?
Jew, my family dates back to the land thousands of years. How dare you attack? You can't call me a colonizer.
We don't want to do this.
That's the thing. I wish these people would come to Israel and like, you don't see a white person that often, oh, it's all white colonized. No, it's not. You fuckwits. They're not at all.
Keep inside, we forgive you. We forgive our enemies. Apologize. Apologize. Shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on you. Jews are indigenous to Judea. Jews are indigenous to Jerusalem.
This guy's like, I just want a fucking coffee, mate.
No.
She's a racist. She's a racist.
Yeah, but in all fairness, probably so are they. So, yeah, man, we live in weird times, right? We live in weird times. Anyway, today is the first day of the month of Tammuz. 16 days to go. 16 days to go till the 3 weeks. 16 days to go till the 21 days. What is going to go down? I hope something. I hope something because, whoa, it's, everything sucks, baby. That'd be nice for everything not to suck for a few minutes. Fine. What else do we have to get to? Any other little... I don't think I do, actually. Should we just get to the chat early? That'd be fucking awesome. right? That would be a fantastic. Oh man, now I'm seeing it's in the thumbnail. Yes, we need to talk about this thumbnail in detail. Doink. Tell you, Sydney Sweeney, literally, one of the greatest things that ever happened to this channel, right? Just one of the. I mean, Sydney Sweeney and Millie Gibson, but Sydney Sweeney especially. Where did the super hot Hollywood actress come from? I mean, like, this used to be normal, right? And now it's few and far between. And indeed, Sydney Sweeney gets even more awesome with this new news story. I mean, incredible. You wouldn't have thought she could get any more awesome, right? No. Apparently, she can, right? Incredibly, I actually got even more awesome. The dumbest Doctor Who ideas ever. And honestly, there just wasn't enough room on the thumbnail to get them all in, right? There just wasn't enough room at all on the thumbnail to, I mean, like, I would have, what else would I want? A Timeless Child. Just, there's been so many dumb ideas over the last 7 years. It's like, Doctor Who had like 4 or 5 dumb ideas over the initial, 58 years. And then, the subsequent 57 years. Then the subsequent 4 years, like so many dumb ideas. I mean, honestly, I think one of the dumbest ones is Lenny Rush and what's her name? Shirley Ann Bingham is the name of the character. Rachel, no. It's like, for God's sake, who didn't like disabled people? I don't understand. What oppression are disabled people fight? Like who goes, oh, those wheelchair using cunts, they should get out. Oh, like who? Who is like? Have you ever met anybody ever like that? I haven't. That's the real thing. I genuinely haven't. Right? Anybody? If you ever meet anybody like that, that means they're a super. Who doesn't look at somebody in a wheelchair and says, "Oh, maybe I'll be a bit nicer." Right? Who does? I know. In Rusty Davis' mind, if you're in a wheelchair, oh, everybody hates you. Oh, the oppression. Don't worry. The Keir Starmer and the DEI squad from hell are coming to save you. Fuck me. England, again, hope for the apocalypse. The other way, England is fucked. Oh, it's like so super duper fucked. Hopefully so is Neil Gaiman as well. That'd be just hilarious, right? But look at this litany of terrible ideas, right? Every idea I'm looking at on the screen, other than Sydney Sweeney, is a terrible, terrible idea. Why would anybody think any of this is going to work? And I hated the machine guns in Lenny Rush's, whatever the fuck that is, Segway. Why is he going around on it? Does he have a problem walking? I don't understand. Why is he? I know he's handicapped, but like, can he not walk? Why is he on the Segway? Right? I don't understand. Right? I don't understand. And he's just such a shit character as well. But I read this article yesterday from Bleeding Cool saying, no, it's really meant for kids. Well, what about Sarah Jane Adventures? Like, Sarah Jane Adventures was qualitatively different from Doctor Who because that was a children's show, whereas Doctor Who was a family show. Now it's a family and moron show, right? I know. But, so what's the name of her? Ruth Madeley. Again, Ruth, I would love to know who hates people in a wheelchair. But she's convinced they do, right? Oh, if you're in a wheelchair, you're not very clever. What? I don't understand. I mean, even you go back to Dalek Invasion of the Earth, which is 1964, right? You had a hit. One of the major, most heroic characters in the whole thing was in a wheelchair, right? The leader of the resistance. And nobody went, oh, look at that cunt. We better not follow him. Like, where is this imagined oppression coming from? Jodie Whittaker. What a mind-meltingly bad idea that was, right? How can you see an idea do quite as badly as Jodie Whittaker? I don't know. Well, you got Yaz next to her because that was a pretty bad idea. Better Phasmin. Well, that went nowhere. It went absolutely nowhere, and it was atrociously acted. Of course, we got a bit of what's his name, Jonathan Groff in the background. Find me, and tongue kiss me again. I think Yasmin Finney. And I can just imagine the woke weirdo say, oh, look at all the diversity. He hates diversity. No, I hate diversity being used as a cloak to feed me shit and tell me it's the best thing ever, which is what literally all this shit is. I'm saying every episode has been said. Actually, you know something we haven't done? Oh, should I do the chat first? Fine. First thing off the chat. Didn't do this last night. We are going to compare Flux with season 1, season 14, right? We are going to compare the two and see which one comes out on top, because, you know, the Rabbi likes it on top, baby. Anyway, with that, we have the Ideal Starters. How you doing, Ideal Starters? Thank you for joining us. Watched the England game last night. I did not. Did anybody hear the near collision from Kane and Southgate? I have no idea what any of that means. I did not. Conrad said, is the sports ball still on? Again, this is not my field of expertise. My dad used to love football, soccer to Americans, right? My dad, oh God, when he you know, blessed memory, obviously, he passed away. What, 2017, I think. Yeah, 2017, 2018, I think, so somewhere around there. I can't remember. It's 2017, 2018. So yeah, somewhere around there. So he didn't see quite how bad things are going to get. Bless him. Good for him, right? Good for him. But whenever he would come and stay with us, he got this like really nice, sleek, thin Apple laptop, right? Never used it. He used his old clunker, Old Faithful, which like it was like one of the old timers that I had to like, you know, I nearly like got a hernia trying to lift it. And wherever he'll go, whenever he was in the house, you'll always hear the sound of all the football crowds are like constantly watching soccer. I don't get it, right? I don't get what on earth is interesting about soccer in any way, shape, or form. I find it dull, right? And look, don't get me wrong, it's very good if if you're able to get your mind and your body to a point of fitness where you're able to play this game really well. Couldn't really give two shits, though, frankly. Really, I really just couldn't give two shits about it. There's no narrative driving force. I'm much more interested in the brain of fucking Morbius, quite frankly. Because I find that much more interesting. So the sports on, I don't know. If they say it is, they say it is. But here we go. Lonnie is here. How you doing, Lonnie? Thank you for joining us. Lonnie gives us... Oh, I got to remember to do this. Next stream I'll do it. I'll forget. But if I don't forget, if I comment on the stream, I'm able to click the links, right? A bit of MAGA country music for you. So I can't click on it, but you guys click on it and enjoy. Matthew Pounder is here. How you doing, Matthew Pounder? Darren, I'm sure I said to you. Say hello to you, Darren. Yes, Sister Sandra. I knew that Eki Neilman was a dirty secret also as a horrible idea. So the Doctor was the moment when they replaced me with a cry baby. Oh, Eki Thumb. Yeah, one thing I'll say for Jodie Whittaker, she never started crying every fucking episode. God, I just got it like. I don't know, that doesn't seem that strong to me, right? And no, I was again last night I was reading Rusty Davis's Idiot Ideas. Like every idea they've had this year has been an idiot idea, is to relate to children more by making you more, but basically it made the character more pathetic so children could relate to them more. Stop with trying to relate to them. Give a character for us to look up to. There's nobody here to look up to, right? We got like. Okay, Shirley Ann Bingham, whatever, Ruth Madeley, Lenny Rush, clearly DEI hires. As is, wait, fuck that. Everybody on this thumbnail, other than Sydney Sweeney, is a DEI hire. Of course, we're going to get the ultimate DEI hire very soon, I think, with President Kamala, who is. I don't know how. We got to make a new scale to rate how dumb she is, and boy, is she dumb. Like just unbelievably slow of mind, right? That reminds me. Do you remember Gru the Wanderer from was it Sergio Aragon? I think did Gru the Wanderer. Oh, here, this is what I'm looking for. Put another cold brewed tea bag in. Let's see if this makes it a bit stronger. It was okay. You remember Mad Magazine? And man, the fact that Mad Magazine collapsed is another Trump derangement syndrome tragedy, right? It's Mad Magazine. If they had run a magazine that was satirical, taking no sides and making fun of everyone, they would have been able to print money. Oh man, everybody would have loved it, right? Apart from the leftists who can't take anybody taking the piss out of them. But I think they would have served a demographic completely abandoned by the media. But no, that every issue, Alfred D. Newman had to be Donald Trump, right? Okay, every freaking issue, and it collapsed. It went down. 75 years of publishing flushed away because of a insanity about Donald Trump. And the thing they hate most about Donald Trump is he was so demonstrably better, right? He was so demonstrably better than Biden. It's ridiculous. And Obama, for goodness sake. Best economy of our lives and world peace. I think both of those two things were pretty darn good, right? Pretty darn, and that's what makes them say. Anyway, Mad Magazine, right? So in the margins, you had these like really funny little sketches by this guy called Sergio Aragon. Is that how you pronounce it? He had a comic called Gru the Warrior, which is kind of a comedy Conan kind of thing. And so they would have the same running gags every issue, and they would always be funny. They'll be like in the towards the beginning, somebody will say to Gru, we all know you're slow of mind, Gru, right? And then about 10, 15 pages later, you would have Gru think to himself, what do you mean slow of mind? I don't know why I got into that. Probably talking about Russell Lee Davies, right? Probably talking about Russell Lee Davies. Yeah, because like just every one of these ideas is a shitter. I'm sorry. And more. That is current Doctor Who for you. Oh, current everything. Oh, man. How did Picard season 3 get made? That's a mystery to me. I mean, how was season 1 of Strange New Worlds quite good? That doesn't make sense at all, but they're totally the aberration. I'm very glad for it, don't get me wrong. It was like an oasis in a sea of shit that we live. Please, Apocalypse. Oh, come on down. We are ready for you. And I do think it's going to go down. Please, if probably globally. I think probably globally. Where are we up to? Matthew Banner says, evening, Daz. Saying Darren M will be my guest. Don't worry, Rapper, you're not the only one who's not blessed. I've been suffering from back pains and a computer that's not getting the message. That's surprising. I don't want an update. Oh, man, I hate updating my computer. It's always terrifying, solder engines. Right? It really is. You just never know what Pandora's box you're going to open, do you? You have no clue. PD Rich is there, doing PD Rich. Thank you for joining us. Man, however bad it is looking at England from the outside, I feel much worse for people living in there. Like, especially not like PD Rich, who's like very, very together and normal, right? Now living in the land of make believe, right? Okay. This cabinet Star Wars put together I think it's the least qualified one ever, least experienced, least qualified. God help us, right? Beaver's gonna have a lot of fun with Looney Lammy. I listen. I'm just assuming they're going to declare Palestinian state. They'll do all the normal bullshit. I don't know why America is so pro-Israel. I'm assuming there's some major intelligence hub here, which the CIA want to keep, right? But that's like really the only thing I can suggest, right? I mean, you could say back in the 60s, we were a bastion of democracy here in the Middle East, in basically Russian dominated territory, so part of the Cold War, you can kind of understand it. But now, where America clearly doesn't give two shits, right? Clearly does not give two shits if you have the same system as them or not. It's a mystery to me, right? Absolute mystery. But yeah, no, I am assuming they're going to recognize the Palestinian state. They're going to call for ceasefire, and it's going to be dangerous for Jews in England, right? It is going to be dangerous for Jews in England. Dee asked me, Vanessa Kirby or Margot Robbie, and I'm going to give you a surprising answer, one that I'm surprised at myself. Vanessa Kirby, right? Vanessa Kirby. She strikes me as a firstly, she's very attractive, right? She's very, very, very attractive. But she strikes me as the more intelligent of the two, right? which makes me think that Bed with Her would be incredible. Honestly, I get turned on by women being smart. So I find Gillian Anderson just crazily sexy, right? Because she's obviously crazily smart. She's such a great actress, right? And I mean, Louise Jameson as well, right? Yeah, I find that turns me on. If you're smart and super duper hot and a bit overly sexual, I think that all works together. Robbie Bonham is there. How you doing, Robbie Bonham? Thank you for joining us. Can we have a real life end of the time war moment? If only. I think we're gonna have to. I think we have to. For context, Israel is slightly larger than Vermont, right? Yes, and we got literally 2 wars, like really kicking off, right? Well, one's kind of winding down, I guess. Look, frankly, I'm just glad that my son's home this week. Well, he's going back tomorrow, I think. Poor sod. You've no idea, right? You've no idea. Whenever I take the dog for a walk, I have to go. There's a neighbor of mine who had a son killed in combat, and whenever that happens, it's a big deal, right? And people come from all over Israel to visit. You have a 7-day mourning period. Well, it's a year mourning period. You have like a 7-day mourning period where people come and visit you. So there's it's always packed around the block. I'm like, oh God, and it's so real, right? Because there's nothing you can really do to not get killed if you're going to get killed, right? There's no you can't be clever about it. You can't outthink. If there's a sniper with your name on it, that's where it is, right? It's just generally terrifying. But it's more scary when we're kicking up north because Hezbollah is so much better armed. They have 200,000 high-precision, high-tech missiles, right? And then the route into Lebanon, there's only so many ways they can go, and they're all heavily fortified. A lot of people are going to get killed. Unless they do something clever, right? Which we Israelis are quite good at. Derp Fleet, Derpo Mai. I don't know what that means. Says Petey Rich, but okay. Lottie says, give the rabbi a light. The rabbi likes to be light, baby. I like to be light. So Tilly is teaching at the academy where her knowledge is 1,000 years out of date. Yes, but her waist size is not. She's stunning and brave and looks beautiful, even though she's a fat pig. What would happen if you're at a bar and you see a girl and start trying to chat around and said, man, you're beautiful, just like Lizzo, right? I don't think it'll go down, right? I don't know if it'll go down. I don't know why anyone who want to go to London Star. Well, I used to live there, mate. Where are we up to? TARDIS time today. TARDIS time. Hey, no, apparently J.K. wrote. I'm sweet, but I'm fine that you mixed us up. Apparently, J.K. Rowling is going to help to fund James Driver's case against Mr. Yes, I know. Oh, it's so great, right? It's so great how fucked he is, right? It's just like he doesn't know what's going to hit him. And good luck raising funds to deal with this case, right? Good luck. Oh, it's going to be great. She probably had Hitler posters on Rumbles. I wonder who else talking about 20 past. I know. Carl's got one is there. Let me go over to Rumble. Because Rumble I'm making actually money out of now. So I should really go and say hello to people at Rumble. Let's see if there's anybody there in the live chat. It's just Darren M. Just Darren M. How are you doing, Darren M? Here we go. If you're on Rumble, please follow me. Oh, my subs are going up there on Rumble. Got over 500. I really want to get to 1,000. If you're watching on Rumble, like, share, subscribe. All those things are very, very good things. Very, very good things. Fine. I've been to Rumble. Nothing's going on there. So I love getting little bits of the conversation. I have no idea what doing with it. Stardust says, same here. He brought it all on himself. I like how he tried to deny he was being sued. Oh, yeah, talking about Mr. Todd. I know. Is he still denying he's being sued? I'll have a quick look over there, see if there's anything worth looking at. And if there is, I will tiptoe over there. Man, people were really pissed off with Nick Briggs about that swastika thing, right? I wasn't that pissed off. I just said, I think that's a bad idea. And I explained why, right? Let's see what's going on. No, Catherine Tate. No, don't see him talking about anything. I mean, he's not really going to talk about anything, is he? He's like, what's he going to say? Right? I mean, like, he fucked me on fucked, essentially. I am very excited to see what's going to go down with that. So, no new news over there. Mr. TARDIS, if you don't know, is a rather, I find rather racist, in my opinion, racist Doctor Who commentator who just is odious in every way. I mean, it's absolutely odious. So we're up to fine. Go on. Paul Towson is here. How you doing, Paul Towson? Thank you for joining us. Tzvi Lebetkin says, PD Rich, Hamas are using the LGBTQIA plus community to gain power in the West. Then they will throw them on top of the nearest tall building when they get a foothold. I mean, there's a reason that it became a taboo conversation to have, that the incoming Muslim immigrants of 2010, 2015 don't have the same values, don't have the same cultural values as people in England do, right? Which is, it's like it doesn't match British value, right? It's British values. Like there's no, plurality of opinion. There's no like being gay in the Muslim world. That's not okay, right? There's no like leaving Islam in the Muslim world. That's not okay, right? That's not okay. Sweeney needs to be the next Bongo. There are rumors that, listen, it would make a lot of sense. I kind of like the other guy they got lined up for Bond. I didn't think they're waiting till, I've got the feeling they're waiting till the Age of Book to be over, but man, again, without the apocalypse, I don't see it ending so quick. I mean, they've already reached the point where they can't make money with anything, right? They can't. What is Disney's schedule slate for coming up for 2025? Disney 2024. Let's do 2025 movies. 25 movies. And see what comes up. But I can't imagine anything they do. Although, what's the name? Inside Out made some money. So good for them, right? I guess, they got a crowd, of children that they are easy to pull the wool over their eyes. So Snow White, this was the what's the name one that nobody was really interested. What's her name? Rachel Ziegler, who is like have you noticed how she's shut up now? Thank God. Ilio, what's that? This looks like some diversity cartoon. Do they say what it's about? Elio, an underdog with an active imagination, finds himself inadvertently beamed up to the Communiverse, or the Commiverse, an interplanetary organization with representatives from galaxies far and wide, mistakenly identifies the Earth ambassador to the rest of the universe. He starts to form new bonds with eccentric aliens who's discovered who he's truly meant to be. Probably he's meant to be gay, right? I would have thought probably he's meant to be gay. Avengers Secret Wars, no one's interested, baby. Avengers Kang Dynasty, no one's interested, baby. Really, all these things are going to tank. What's the release date for this? May 7th. I mean, look at the cast list. Like anybody, America Chavez, Miss Marvel, Shang-Chi. Fuck me. Are they going to have Fat Thor back again with Chris Hemsworth? I mean, like, it looks shit. Kang Dynasty, who's in that one? No, I thought they got rid of Jonathan Majors, right? Wait, this is May 1st, and that's May 7th? What? Oh, no, this is 2024. Disney 2025 movies. So why is this in the 20... Maybe this will show us. 2025, what they got coming out? Theatrical releases. Where are they? Or is this everything in order, maybe? Okay, Alien, fine. I'm up for that, right? I'm up for that. Theatrical releases, what do they have? My Best Friend, Portugal, whatever. AP, okay. These are on January. Brave New World, Captain America. I doubt I'm even going to see it, right? Snow White, Rachel Ziegler saying, "Oh, we hate the Snow White." The Amateur, never heard of it. Thunderbolts, May 5th. That's the beginning of the summer season. Again, I don't. Thunderbolts actually does sound more interesting than anything else they got coming out. But like, I'm out of the MCU. I'm not interested. I think as most people are. Fantastic Four in July. Pedro Pascal, Mr. Fantastic. Fuck off. I can't stand them. No. Untitled film on August 8th. Like, that's next year, mate. Maybe to get the title. Blade, I don't think they have a rewrite for that yet. They've been rewriting that non-stop. And Avatar 3. Doesn't look good for them, right? Doesn't look good for them. What they got coming up in the streaming? Daredevil Born Again, they'll fuck that up. Alien, I'm looking forward to, right? Dream Productions on no idea. Ironheart. Fuck me, they filmed that how many months back? How many years back? And been holding it back? Yeah, no, good luck with that. Good luck. Yeah, it doesn't matter that all these things fail, right? It doesn't matter at all. That's the weird wibbly wobbly verse we live in now, right? They can fail and fail and fail and fail and fail, and it makes no difference. Like I was listening to Dan's channel, Type 40, the other day, and I think it was Simon. They were saying, look, the people are going to have serious meetings about the drop in the low viewership. The ratings are terrible. I'm like, I don't think so. Like, honestly, they act like none of this is a problem ever, right? God, Sydney is the two of the greatest things that happened to this channel. Well, yes, and she's a great swimmer as well, from what I'm saying. At least I like to watch her try. At least we'll start having last hand. Yeah, look, I do think like you know the forces of evil, right? The etheric, is that what I'm looking for? Forces of evil. They are crumbling, man. That reminds me. There was like two good shows that I really, really liked. Both got cancelled. One was Raised by Wolves. Freaking love that show, right? And it got cancelled at the end of the second season. How do they make Star Trek, fucking Starfleet Academy, and put one into that and not that? It's beyond me. I mean, like, man, if you can find Raised by Wolves, it's one of the best pieces of sci-fi I've seen in years, right? Absolutely. Stephen Hawking, yes, for great representation. Like, again, who is it that thinks that being in a wheelchair is it's like you want to look down at somebody for? No. Titus, I laughed every time Lenny Brush was on screen. I couldn't take him seriously. He just reminded me of South Park. I'm like, he did. Right, he did. And like when he was firing his machine gun from his Segway, I think we got to look at that again. Oh, it's painful, it's bad, but I think, you know, yeah. Well, lest we forget, right? Lest we forget how insanely shit it is. You know, we don't want to do that one. So let's go to doing. And honestly, I'm getting. I wish this season of The Boys Are the Last, but it's been renewed for a 5th season. I'm like, it's getting a bit tired right now. Like last episode was just gross shit after gross shit after gross shit after gross shit, right? I mean, like, enough already. Do I have the last episode? I thought I had it in there. Oh, here we go. Yeah, 1 second. Let's see if I get him firing his machine gun. Oh, here it is. Look at him! Ah! Well, not Yaz, basically saying Yasmin Finney uses her. Over here. Because I love you when you see his like face as he valiantly takes on Sutek. God. What does this have to do with Sutek?
On our way back, try to contain that thing.
I bring Sutek's dust.
Open fire!
And Sutek's dust of death is qualitatively more shit than Gift of Death. And then, yeah, there's Jasmine Finney. Oh, God, it's so dumb. Just look at this. It's so fucking dumb. But it's okay. Like, what's she doing on that fucking tablet? Oh, I don't know. Too weird, mate. Too weird. 8-Bit Snake Boys here doing 8-Bit Snake. Flux was better. I think I'm going to say yeah. My father was spared. I think he was. I do agree with you. Lottie says, please click me. Good word, darling. Caroline Harris needs to meet Diane Abbott. Yes, that's who a running mate needs to be. We need a Harris Abbott ticket. Oh, me. Yeah, I can't believe Diane Abbott couldn't stay. She's not in government now, is she? Like, I can't believe she couldn't stay in the in crowd long enough to, like, I mean, look at the procession of troglodytes they got coming into government. And she didn't get in? Really? Right agrees with anti-Trumpy. They all are Matthew Pounder, aren't they? I mean, like, again, you got to separate the art from the artist. God help us, in the next 5 years, it's over. I don't think you're going to have a country left. Again, your only hope is the apocalypse, right? The only hope. Tzvi Lebetkin, the land of make believe, but not, but without Bucks Fizz. Well, yeah, now I'm just going a bit sweaty because I remember them whipping off the skirts off on 1981, was it? In the Eurovision Song Contest. Do you remember when that was racy? When they, let me see if I can find up. It's making your mind up, right? Let's have a look. 1 second, go. Bucks Fizz. And we were all like blown away by it, right? Eurovision. Making your mind up. Let's see if I can. I remember when they first did this, it was like, oh my God, they just whipped their skirts off. Holy crap. Is this it? Hang on 1 second. Yeah. Look, you know, we British get excited easily. What can I tell you? Is it downloading or not? Oh, yeah, it goes. Doink. I mean, look, the most embarrassing musical moment for the British was Eddie the Eagle Edwards with the Fly Eddie Fly. Oh, fuck, mate. Yes, that was the most embarrassing moment. Let's have a look. What's this?
Thomas.
No, that's clearly the wrong clip, right? This is not Bucks Fizz. Look at what you've done. Okay, we'll get back to you soon. 1 second. What the hell was that? I don't even know what that was. There you go. Little change of speed. There. Bucks Fizz was incredible because it was at the time the band was trying to work out who had the better ass. Was it the men or the women? And they're wearing the skirt. Whoever came up with this move of whipping the skirts off, well, this is basically what made them win everything. No, they still got their skirts on. There you go. 1 second. And if you haven't seen it, again, this was racy. Look at Eurovision now. It's like a procession of like demons from hell.
Don't care less, but if you want to see some more, bending the rules of the game will let you find the one you're looking for, and then you can show.
Oh, you gotta love that Keith Chegwin haircut, haven't you? But that was it. That was the the height of sensuality for me in 1981. I'm still sure that Diane hasn't made Chancellor yet. Well, give it time. That's see what cleavage. Well, good for you. I hope you you live up to your name, my good man. I hope you live up to your name. Ethan Bookholder is there. Ethan, thank you for joining us. So after the stream, create an account at Rumble and subscribe to the Rabbi on Rumble. That's always a good move. Peter said, actually, Tzvi Lebetkin, India is cracking down on Indian immigrants who are cheating the system. Everywhere is. Germany just sent back a whole plane load of Afghan refugees, I think. Yeah, everywhere apart from England. Oh, fuck me. Richardson, that. Like, that fucked up, useless Rwanda plan. It's like, just leave the the European Court of Human Rights, who said, "Oh no, you got to keep the murdering rapists, probably racist as well. You got to keep your murdering rapists, and make sure you give them council house and give them a phone, a good phone, None of that, knockoff crap. Give them something decent." Fine. Southern said hello to you. Yeah, how can you get Alien wrong, Ridley? Listen, I like Prometheus, and again, I'm in a very small group. I understand, but I really do like Prometheus and Covenant, right? I like both those movies. How's that segue staying upright against the kickback from the guns? Oh, because it's a super segue from space. It's a space segue. Bobby D75 is here doing Bobby D75. Thank you for joining us. X-Man 577. There's no way that Dr. Doc. You probably are correct there. Sean Cryer is here doing Sean Cryer. Thank you for joining us. Who else we got? Well, that looks like an episode of Doctor Who. Well, probably filmed at the same time. Looks a lot better than an episode of Doctor Who. Lol. Fine. Speaking of which, fine. Let's do a comparison, right? I'm going to pull up 2 episodes guides, right? Doctor Who episode guide. Doctor Who episode guide. Doink. And we'll do 2 windows and compare and contrast, right? We'll go deep breath and whizzing through it. We're at the Jodie era, and then let's go to the queer era, the queerer, because it doesn't get much queerer than that. It really doesn't, man. So I'm not going to compare season 1, season 14 to the first Jodie season, because that's still the winner, okay? Shooter's first season beats this. Woman Who Fell to Earth, probably the best episode of the season. Ghost Monument was the best episode of the season. Rosa shit, Arachnid UK shit, Saranga Conundrum shit, Deals of Punjab shit, Kablam shit, Witchfinder shit, Takes Away, everything. Shit. And then it's like, oh no, we're gonna make it much bigger next year. We're gonna make it much bigger. We got Spyfall. And schmuck that I am, and I am a schmuck, right? I thought, maybe they're gonna turn it around, right? Maybe they're gonna turn it around. No. Although I do think the production values in Spyfall were good. Stephen Fry completely wasted. And it's just badly written. Like Orphan 55, the lowest point of Doctor Who. That was this the nadir of Doctor Who. Only marginally better, fractionally better, is Nikolai Tesla's Night of Terror, Night of Extreme Boredom, Future of the Dune, originally shit episode that made no sense whatsoever. Praxeus, in which you had a gay policeman and a gay astronaut being gay. And that was basically it. Can you hear me? Apparently Yaz was bullied for being Muslim in Yorkshire. Really? It's like me being bullied for being Jewish in Israel. Yeah, I don't think so. The Haunting of Villa Dildo. No. Essential Assignment. No. Timeless Children. Shit. Revolution of the Dalek. Fine. So there. I think that is... So which is better, actually? I think this is fractionally better, fractionally worse than Shooter's first season, right? But let's have a look. Fine. Halloween Apocalypse. So, other than Jodie Whittaker, who is always nail on a chalkboard, right? Always nails on a chalkboard. This threw up a lot of different things against the wall, and it moved at a reasonable pace, so it felt like Doctor Who to a Norman, right? I mean, again, it's unwatchably bad. But it still had more, a closer... It was closer to Doctor Who than anything they'd done before, and I did like Carvanista, right? I genuinely like Carvanista. War of the Sontarans, I thought, again, Jodie Whittaker is shit. She's awful every time you see her on screen. What an awesome cold opening, though, right? That cold opening was fantastic with their fight where they turn out their fight in the Sontarans. That was a really good Doctor Who opening, right? I do commend for that. And I remember it had quite a good cliffhanger as well, right? What was that cliffhanger? Oh, that they're standing in the temple of the whatever, and they're about to be touched by, I can't remember, and that'll be zapped. So then you have Once Upon a Time. That was really bad, right? That was really, really genuinely bad. bit of a Jodie heavy episode. Then you got Village of the Angels, probably one of the strongest bits of the season. Again, unwatchably bad, but at least it kind of felt and looked a bit like Doctor Who if you squinted. Survivors of the Flux and the Vanquish, it just like fell apart completely. All right, so so this is going to be hard to compare. Okay, out of 10 or 100, what should I score it? I think out of 10. Out of 10, I'll give the Halloween Apocalypse. I'll give it a 4. No, I'll give it a 3. Right, I'll get the 3.5. Right, so you got 3.5. Well, I bet might as well say 35 then. We'll do that instead. Let's do the average rating. So we got 35 out of 100. War of the Sontarans gets 40, right? Because there were there were some actually quite strong parts of that, right? So that gets 4 out of 10, 40 out of 100. Once Upon a Time, 2.5 or maybe 2. No, I'm going to go for 2.5, right? 2.5. So we got 35 plus 40, 35 plus 40 plus 20. Village of the Angel, I'm going to go back up to 4. I'm going to give that a 4, right? I did it wrong again. 35 plus 40 plus 20 plus... so I'm going to give 40 for Village of the Angels. Survivors of the Flux gets 2.5. Yeah, that gets 2.5, I think. And then Vanquishers gets 1.5. So that gives it an average rating of, divide that into 6. 2.9, right? It gives it an average rating of 2.9. Fine. So let's compare it to Space Babies. Okay, Space Babies, what would I give that? I think I'll give that look at the ratings. And by the way, do you notice they keep the AI figures totally hidden now? Right? Still missing in action. I wonder why. Because it didn't do very well. Bottom line. Space Babies, I will give that very low, actually. Very low. 2.5, right? Yeah, very low. Devil's Cord, I give 1. All right. I'm sorry. The Jinx Monsoon thing doesn't work for me for reasons I've spoken about at quite some length. So, Boom, that should get, again, no more than a 3.5. Blimey, it's really low. Okay. 73 yards. See, this is like the first 20 minutes holds together, then it falls apart. So I guess you got to go with it in its entirety. So 73 yards. See, look, both Boom, Devil's Cord, and Space Babies, and Dot and Bubble, right? And Rogue, and Empire, they all completely implode. Whereas they didn't really so much with the, they weren't good. But with Flux, they didn't really implode. It wasn't like a complete, collapse. Weird. It's really weird, right? I don't know. So where am I up to? So 73 yards. What should I give that? I don't think you can give it more than a 3, right? I don't think you can give it more than a 3. And Dot and Bubble, I think the same thing. Rogue gets a 1. 0.5. Right? It gets a 0.5. And then, oh man. Legend Ruby Sunday gets I'm going to give it 2.5. I think that's fair. Then Empire of Death. Because it just it just didn't deliver in any way. I'm going to give that a 2, I think. So let's divide that into 8. Oh! Flux is better. Fuck me. Flux is better. This comes up with a 2.25, while Flux came up with a 2.9. So now we've answered that question. Which is better? I think that these are reasonably good ratings as well. And let's go through it again. Like Space Babies, you can't give a good rating to because it was just like empty pap, right? And it had less to recommend it than the Halloween Apocalypse, for example. Yeah, it really did. It really had less to recommend. Devil's Called, again, shit in every way and evil, right? I do not think it's a good thing to try and convince children that gender and sexuality is fluid, because it really isn't. Boom, I didn't like the central measure, but at least it was crafted like an episode. But, also let down by Shooter's very weak performance. Like, Shooter's has let down a lot of these episodes with his very weak performance. So that's why 73 Hours and Dot and Bubble were better, because Shooty wasn't in them. Rogue was just the worst, though. I mean, just like, again, there's nothing to recommend any of these stories. I stand by that. I think Flux is better than Shooty Season 1, right? I think Flux is better than Shooty Season 1. And look, we had many unanswered questions at the end of Flux. I think we got quite a big number of questions not answered as well. Here, let's have a look. Here we got over here. 8 unanswered questions after the season 14's ending, or season 1's ending. Well, just listen to me, right? Number 8, who is Mrs. Flood? Well, again, I'm not going to berate them for that. An old friend or a new enemy? There's a lot of rumors that she's really Clara, because she wears the same kind of clothes Clara wore, like the sweater with the shirt collar sticking out of it. I don't really care about the answer to the question, but I don't. Yeah, listen, I think that's an intentional question. Whereas with Flux, it was they just didn't think about it, right? So, wait, who are all these things? Sutek, God of Death. Toymaker, God of Days. Maestro, God of the Destroyer Rating. Trickster, Mara. Mara's not the God of Beast. Where do you get this from? Did they talk about that in the? Is this what they said in the episode? I don't know. The threefold deity, gods of malice, mischief, and misery. I don't remember even seeing that. The reprobate, the god of spite, the incenser. Okay, wait. Who is all these people? Mr. Flood appear. Oh, wait, maybe it's saying it's over here. There are. Now I'm going to read this. Mrs. Flood outwardly appeared as a slightly batty old lady who lives next to Ruby Sunday, Carla, and Cherry. And however, Mrs. Flood has an enigmatic and slightly sinister edge to her character, and has knowledge that Forex sees the everyday pensioner. Firstly, Mrs. Flood knows what a TARDIS is. Well, at the beginning, she didn't know what a TARDIS was, which was a bit weird, right? I wonder if they're ever going to address that as that's just a plot hole, right? It could well just be a plot hole. There's a TARDIS like Jinx Monsoon is able to interact with the audience by breaking the fourth wall. Again, I just think that's just shit, lazy writing, quite frankly. This is the costume they say is they correctly say is something very similar to what Clara wore. Is able to interact with the audience, breaking the fourth wall, has the ability to suggest that she could be a member of the Pantheon of Gods. Does her petty argument with Abdul in the Church on Ruby Road suggest she's a god of spite? Did they mention any of these things? I mean, I guess they did. I wasn't really paying attention. There are various other possibilities. I don't really care. The white fur coat and hood is very similar to one worn by Mary Tam as Romana. But one. Much better, right? Much better. What's going on with Ruby's father? Nothing, right? He's a man. It doesn't matter. And if it's as little as was going on with Ruby's mother, oh God, what a Jesus fucking Christ! A whole season of having your balls tickled. Oh, who's your mother? Oh, what a mystery! Oh, it's just no one. God, Russell, what a fucking letdown! I mean, like, you could have even had to be a chick with a dick, right? And then, she magically had a baby. Because, trans women are women, obviously. Who's the father? We're never going to... It doesn't matter. He's just a man. Where is the Doctor's granddaughter? Again, this was just member bearers they threw into legitimize Shooty. But I don't think we're going to have any looking from Susan whatsoever. You want to know where she is? She's at Big Finish, doing quite well for herself. Where did Rogue end up? Somewhere very gay, probably. Somewhere very, very gay. I mean, like, really, why do I want to see this ever again, right? It's like, and this wasn't a love story. This was a sex story, right? Very different from a love story. Where does the Shulker Doctor fit in the canon? Who cares? There is no canon anymore. Rusty Davis basically said that the other day. There is no canon anymore. Although Richard E. Grant's best guest appearance was in Loki. I loved him being one of the Lokis, right? The camera does canonize Grant's Doctor as a legitimate incarnation. No, because none of this is canon, right? I'm sorry, everything after Capaldi is not canon. Since the revelation of future Doctor and Timeless Children, there are no revelations. It makes no sense. We don't care. We're not interested. This is just cultural vandalism. Who is Meet the Beats Rogue Boss? I don't bloody care. I guess we'll find out this season sometime. Probably the Sea Devils. What's the deal with the 14th Doctor? It was a terrible idea of Russell T. Davis that completely failed, right? And what's the deal? What's the deal with the 14th Doctor? He's now the most half of the most excruciating, annoying, obnoxious couple that I think since Harry and Meghan, right? No one's given any thought to this. Who picked up the toy maker's gold tooth? That could be Mrs. Flood, right? That could well be Mrs. Flood, but will they ever pick up on it? I don't really care. That's it. But again, none of these things are plot holes, right? That's not a plot hole. This is. That's not a plot hole, it just doesn't matter. That's a plot. Again, that's an intentional plot hole. Where did Rogue end up? That is not even a plot hole. That's part of the story. And that doesn't matter. Yeah, okay, shut up. This is just stupid, right? This is just stupid. But there have been people who have quite liked it, right? There have been people who quite enjoyed it. Let's look at this insanity. Doctor Who Season 14 was a jumpstart the series has needed for years. Did you see okay, this is Doctor Who Flux, right? People were tearing their hair out at how bad the ratings were. Oh no, it's only got a 5.8. Oh, 4.64. Oh, they would dream of a 4.64 now. They didn't come close to a 4.64. Right? What's the highest they got? 4.06. Right? And that's when they're apoplectic about how bad it was doing. Right? If that was a jumpstart it needed, why didn't it jumpstart it? Warning, this article contains spoilers for season 14. Let's see this idiot, insane argument. The first season of showrunner Russell Davis' second tenure of Doctor Who has now wrapped. After the finale of plenty of sci-fi wackiness and emotional payoffs, no emotional payoff whatsoever. Plenty of sci-fi wackiness that just wasn't very good, right? No emotional payoff whatsoever. I mean, right, honestly, Ruby Sunday's mother being nobody? No. We can find a look back at the overall season, compare it to its predecessors. I was just doing that. Doctor has always been a British cultural staple since 1963, up until 2017, but gained more of a worldwide audience in 2005 relaunch. That's because they put it on Netflix and did very well with Matt Smith. Also spearheaded by Davis. After so many years, so many ups and downs over the past 20 years, how is the show faring in its latest iteration? Shit! A totally different type of shit from the previous iteration, but shit. Gay fan fiction. Well, all things considered, after a quite frankly dreadful era overseen by producer Chris Chibnall, well, I can't say he didn't like that, and you might like this, which preceded Davis's return because he had to return because it did so badly, and then he fell completely. And that hatted assembled final season under Moffat that came before that. Fuck off! That was a great season. Season 1 has been a massive step up in quality. In what way? Does it look prettier to you? Is it less complicated? Is it less complicated because you're a bit of a dummy, right? It used to be Doctor Who was too clever for people like you, and it was much better for it, quite frankly. It's not perfect. No, it's shit. And we'll examine where it could improve everywhere a little later. But Shooting Out was first season of Doctor Who. The first time in years Doctor Who has felt like it had a purposeful creation. No, it had a purposeful creation with Jodie. It was the purposeful word to say that women shouldn't be shouldn't be oppressed in society, even though they're not. Unlucky number 13. Well, first, how long is this? Is this going to go on forever? Is it going to make me want to shoot myself? Okay, it's not so bad. It's not so bad. Unlucky number 13. Well, we were unlucky once, mate. Not so much a hot take to say that Rusty Davies returned for a second time as showrunner. Doctor was stuck in something of a bit of a rough spot. Moffat's tenure as showrunner is divisive amongst fans. Not anymore, it's not. But the fan favorite installment, Heaven Sent, didn't really like it. Which was part of the wrap-up of the 12th Doctor, Peter Capaldi, Clara Oswald's relationship in season 9, was the last time the show delivered a truly excellent episode. Fuck off! Really? 1 second. Yeah. So again, Heaven Sent, I wasn't really rate. I thought Hellbent was better. I quite prefer the Husband of Rivers On. Pilot was an excellent episode. I am sorry. Right? It was an excellent episode. Smart was okay. Wasn't anything, massive to write home about. Thin Ice also okay. Knock Knock was lower quality. Oxygen. I like that one, actually. And I like The Extremist, Pyramid at the End of the World, Lie of the Land, and Emperors of Mars. That trilogy before going through Mars. And I would watch any of those way before anything was shooting, right? Emperor's Mars 2, Easel's like, meh, World Enough in Time, and The Doctor Falls superb, as is Twice Upon a Time. So you are talking shite, my man. Absolute shite. To the last time truly experienced in the 2015 Christmas episode, Husband Rivers On will be his farewell to the show. Moffat originally it'll be his farewell show. It probably would have been better, right? And the special still feels like the most appropriate series finale. Actually, I kind of hear that. That's an interesting point. Man, look, you're making a good point there. Doctor Who will likely ever have tying off every loose end, and Doctor and his wife a happy ending. But Moffat stayed for one more season, I guess, because they would have cancelled it if they hadn't. And everything went downhill from there. I disagree. Not that season 10 doesn't have a chance. Like Paul Mackey's performance, and look, this guy obviously liked Paul Mackey being relentlessly lesbian, right? But Moffat clearly exhausted all his big ideas. Again, you are watching a different show. World Enough in Time, I thought, was excellent. I love that. And Twice Upon, I thought all these things. I thought there was a lot of excellence in that, yeah, right. And it was a lot better for not having Clara. Gilbert taking over only made everything worse with 3 seasons of almost completely bereft of quality we see in the early eras. I bet you were screaming how great it was, mate, at the time. Pretty much the only good thing about the run was Jodie Whittaker's performance of the Doctor. Really? Do you really think that what was it about a performance that you liked? Was it how she completely didn't convince anybody she was a Doctor in any way, shape, or form ever? Right? Do you think it might be something to do with that? I don't know. with Broadchurch alum doing everything in her power to wrestle something workable. She didn't wrestle anything. She was unbelievably shit. Oh my God. Every time she came on screen, it imploded. Okay, one second. Let's see. Do I have a clip of this? I don't know what the Jodie era that I actually kept, that I actually have on file, because why would I have any on file? I think I got some over here. So look, do I have Spyfall, which has that big? Oh yes, I do. Is this the one which has a confrontation? Oh yeah, let's look at the confrontation she has with Lenny Henry. Where is it? There we go. This is her performing the Doctor.
Nice party. Nice house.
Daniel, don't think we've been introduced.
I'm the Doctor.
And it's such a bad David Tennant impersonation, isn't it?
I'm a +1. So, did you assassinate the head of MI6 yourself, or just order it?
I think you're at the wrong party. Casino theme, not whodunit.
Why is there an alien code embedded at the edge of your company's systems?
There's no line she delivers is believable, is it?
We both know you're in league with a race of alien creatures.
I think you better get your medication checked, Doctor, or maybe some psychiatric help, because I don't know who you are or what you're talking about.
How long have they been here?
Again, it's like one of the worst confrontations I've ever seen.
Where are they from? Who recruited whom? Are you running them, or are they running you?
Again, this is just a bad David Tennant impersonation. Where's it when she's in the casino? She's shit at everything. Hey, keep up. Oh, I'm the Doctor, mate. Oh, chocolate great. It worked when Matt Smith did it, darling. Yeah, no, she was awful. She was awful. Really? Yeah, she was awful. With a good performance of the Doctor, something workable. But sadly, the 13th era is one of the weakest in the show's history. Yes, woke shit, as I like to call it. But now, wait a minute, here comes woker shit. From an array of flat, uninteresting companions, incomprehensible plotting and dialogue driven far more by exposition than character, the Doctor becoming conservative-minded individual who defends the status quo and a massive unneeded retcons of the series mythology. Well, Rusty Davis loved it. The Chibnall era would likely have killed any other show. It kind of did, didn't it? But Doctor Who is too big to ever go away, to ever meaningfully go away. Well, I went away from 89 to 2005 quite meaningfully. Oh, man. I wonder if Doctor Who gets cancelled, if it will make Big Finish become stronger or weaker. I don't know. It's an interesting question. And with the Doctor, with Disney Plus swooping in to take over the international distribution and revamp the series, was assured. But thankfully, Doctor Who is already showing significant signs of improvement. Like what? Right? And it all starts with a new era, solid foundation. They want to tell queer stories. It's the queer Doctor Who, the queer era. That's not a solid foundation. As of the best eras of modern Doctor Who, there's been there's been 4, right? There's not been so many. Modern Doctor Who, season 14 hones in on mostly episodic plots centered around the Doctor and a single companion. Yes, that was good. I agree with you. This style of storytelling has always been to show strong suit, but only if those stories are insanely simplistic and dumb, which they all were. Insanely simplistic and dumb, or just fell apart completely, right? Which, yeah, look, let's just go through the list. Space Babies, simplistic and dumb. Devil's Call, simplistic and dumb and evil. Boom, Simplistic and dumb. Even that way, yeah. 73 yards, simplistic and dumb. Good premise, falls apart. Don't Bubble, good premise, falls apart. Rogue, the Doctor's sex story, not a love story. Legend of Ruby Sun, Empire of Death, simplistic and dumb. Simplistic and dumb is what this season was. Simplistic and dumb. Where we're up to. It's been a strong shoot down between the 9th Doctor and Rose, 10th Doctor and Donna, and the 12th Doctor and Clara standing out as the best examples of what? Well, you didn't like Matt Smith? It is too early to tell yet if the 15th Doctor and Ruby will enter the esteemed group. No. Since their low episode count these days, Millie Gibson is still has at least another season. No, she doesn't. She was fired. Or playing her character, but now for the Back for Basics approach seems to be working. No, it didn't. Yeah, that was a good idea, but it's not working. How do you know it's not working? Objective metrics saying it's not working. Well, people consume TV in a different way nowadays. No, they still won't consume shit. I'm sorry, and they run away from shit. That's basically what happens. One of the season's 8 episodes, out of the season episode, only 2 that stand out as not making the grade are Space Babies as being too juvenile, and Dot and Bubble for struggling with the jarring tonal shifts. No, there's none of them. Again, none of them pull together. I'm sorry. This is just a ridiculous shilling piece that we're moving for some reason I don't quite understand. By contrast, the season contains some exemplary episodes. No, it doesn't. The likes of which we haven't seen the shows in years. Boom is another example of how high concept, a high concept self-contained episode written by Stephen Moffat is the best if he came back to script. He came back to script segment. It's probably the best the season was that year, but it had too many plot holes. Frankly, and I think the fundamental message of it was quite gross. Quite frankly, I think it was a expression of hatred of religion, of organized religion, because they said, "Oh, we hate blind faith, but we need it." So, if the blind faith is in your own self-defined religion, then it's a good thing. If the blind faith is in religion, then oh no, that's bad, right? That's bad. So I didn't really like it, right? I didn't really like it. Technically, I'll give the Doctor a Doctor-like horror story that goes in unexpected directions. What, like no sense whatsoever? Like it goes in the direction of having no internal logic whatsoever. I guess you could have asked the David Tennant Doctor, but he said, "No, I'm too busy. Not going to help you. Goodbye." Technically gives an expected direction. Then the 2-parter, The Legend of Ruby Sun, the Empire Dead, brings a through line. Established the 14th Doctor special, the Pantheon of Discord, a collection of evil gods that to an explosive conclusion with a final confrontation with Sutek, which was awful. Literally, they put a chain around his neck and dragged him through the time vortex, bringing death to death. It was literally awful, right? The teasers related to the subplot are better handled than the previous attempts. No, they weren't. With the show's history and at story arcs, especially because the members of the Pantheon are actually used as villains for specific episodes. The Toy Maker, blah blah blah, with Maestro. Okay, yeah. So there was some internal consistency, but you can say that about the Chibnall era as well. I'm sorry. And although the topic is contentious, I felt the reveal of Ruby's mother as a normal human being instead of a cosmic being or a long-lost figure from the Who lore to be a poignant choice, if underwhelming and nonsensical. Right? None of these are good choices. Underwhelming, nonsensical. And Ruby reuniting with her mother to be one of the season's best emotional scenes. Not really. I think I might fell asleep doing that for the first time. Long-form stories have never been Doctor Who's strength under any showrunner. You might have a good point with that. Okay, story arcs, yes. Long-form storytelling, maybe not. You might well have a good point with that. And agrees to come will be season 13, which became an overly convoluted. Okay, no. What was the problem with Flux was they threw many pieces up against the wall and just forgot about them instead of putting them together. Right? It was just left with too many plot holes, and it collapsed. Right? It completely collapsed. But at least it kind of looked like Doctor Who, which was the first time in a couple of years that it did that. Welcome. Reprieve to explain messy storytelling in the past. Okay, so I get it. You don't like the convoluted storylines, right? You don't like that kind of Moffat-like plotting. I get that, right? I get that. One second, just gonna make myself a little refill of something to drink. Glug 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 glug. Let me grab it. Let me grab an iced tea bag. She cried. What are we going to go for? We're going to go for a bit of, what's it? Lemonana. Okay, let's see what that's like. Do a few minutes to brew. What is a Hebrew? A male tea bag. We love a bit of Benny Hill. Never gets better than Benny Bloody Hill, baby. So what are they even saying? I mean, I'm falling asleep reading this article. I'm that bored with it. Probably stakes are where egregious gun will be season 13 convoluted mess that really left the audience with a fixed point of reference. Well, they did that on purpose because if they did, though, the fixed point of reference would be Chris Chibnall can't write for shit, which is a reasonably fixed point. So wait, Chibnall's no longer teaching how to be a showrunner, I take it. If he's got his play, if he's doing a play now, isn't he? I don't know. Man, what a disaster that must have been for his career. Although, again, maybe not, right? Maybe not. Here each episode gets to stand on its own terms, so why do you put the first two together? And both plotting and the stakes are easy to understand. Blimey, they're easy. Yeah, that's not the thing. That's the problem. It's easy to understand by a 4-year-old, right? It's a welcome reprieve to the extremely messy storyline in the past. This guy's just not very clever and not able to work out Doctor Who, so he got kind of annoyed with it. And so dumb Doctor Who, he was great with. An acknowledgement that Doctor Who's 60 years of history can sometimes be a daunting to wrap one's brain around. Luckily, we have a new take on the Doctor to guide us through it. Yes, a super gay Doctor. Dr. Whomst, right? The most consistently strong aspect of Doctor Who is that every incarnation of Doctor is gifted performer to take up the role. Well, not Jodie Whittaker, and I don't think Ncuti Gatwa either. Frankly, I've seen his work, and it's just look. I was in the bag for him before I saw him. He just hasn't pulled it out of the bag. I'm sorry, he hasn't delivered, and he just really genuinely hasn't delivered. The most consistent is the strong performer playing the role. Favorites may vary. Matt Smith's Heads Unite. Don't know what that means. But even the writing was even when the writing was the best, fans can always had a solid actor to latch onto. Except for the last two. This trend catches a continuous Ncuti Gatwa's 15 and this 15th Doctor. No, it doesn't. Who begins a tremendous energy and an easygoing swagger. I'm sick of the swagger, right? It's beyond swagger. It's just pure arrogance. And again, you could tell the production team was so incredibly sure this was going to blow everything away. It was going to be the best thing ever and everyone's going to love it. And it's not. You're a complete failure. To the point where it's apparent even from the beginning in the last 10 minutes or so of his debut outing The Giggle, I didn't think he was very good at that. Yet perhaps the most interesting aspect of his take on the Doctor was revealed over the course of the season as how much of the performance is a performance on the Doctor's part, because deep down 15 is a hot mess. Okay, I thought it was supposed to be super together. Like after David Tennant went and lived with Donna Noble for the rest of his incarnation. If that's how, I don't even know. It gives me a headache even trying to work this bullshit out. It really does, right? It really does. Well, originally the 14th to have a happy ending with his best friend Donna would let him calm down and be collected in the next phase of life. 15 is not healed at all. His over-the-top mannerisms and friendly demeanor try to present otherwise, but his psyche is held together by duct tape and prayers. Well, that kind of invalidates the entire David Tennant arc then, doesn't it? It's just kind of stupid. I'm like, okay, it's one thing to ignore a previous era in your current era, but not when you actually did both of them. His emotion bubbling over in the slightest conflict. Subliminal self-loathing. He struggles with blaming. What are you reading into? This guy has the emotional depths of the cat from Red Dwarf. None whatsoever. And blaming himself for everything bad that happened in the universe comes to a head with Empire Death when he screams into the void upon seeing a lifeless universe again, except the world doesn't revolve around him, and that evil. Oh God, this is just hard to get through. Evil beings making evil choices is not his fault. It's just because he's tangentially connected to them, as with Sutek clinging from the TARDIS to enact his master plan. That was so shit. What is the rebuke of Sutek and declaring himself the one who brings life to the universe in a powerful moment? It wasn't powerful. Every main Doctor in the modern era has a critical flaw, and Shooty Gut one's one is acting. That gives them dimension. The Ninth Doctor, his crassness. He wasn't crass. 10th Doctor is rage. Maybe his excruciating loviness with his excruciating lovey wife. Loviness. His emotional. 12th is self-doubt. No, God, you gotta. Well, the 11th Doctor, his arrogance. He didn't have any. What are you talking about, Matt Smith? 12th Doctor is self-doubt. Okay, 13th Doctor authoritarianism. Well, that's true. The 14th Doctor wasn't around long enough to establish what made him so different than all the others. He was shit when he was good before. That's a bit different. So he had 3 specials and a full instead of a full season. 15 is emotionally fragile and sees a Doctor who was supposed to be the most suave and composed. This doesn't sound like praise. Actually, be one of the most vulnerable and under the surface leaves many possibilities for the character-driven stories in the future. Some of Davis's weaker tendencies have still appeared throughout the season, such as wonky world building or rushed resolutions. But hopefully, these the finale addresses next time around. But no, it won't. But after how much of a slog the last few seasons could be, jumping back into Doctor Who feels fresh, focused, feels like fun. Now, again, you're lying, mate. You're just lying. You're just lying. Okay, none of that was real, right? None of that was real. 10 terrible ideas that nearly happened to Doctor Who. Let's see if we can compare them to the terrible ideas that did happen in Doctor Who. We have the Young Doctor Adventures. What? With a timeless shot. What? When was that? Key to catch in on Doctor Who's overnight success in 2005. The BBC tapped Russell Davies for a spin-off ideas. I never heard of this one. The Young Doctor Adventures? It's awful. One concept was Russell Davies was a CBBC show that would focus on the Doctor's childhood and Gallifrey. For obvious reason, Davies declined to pursue the idea further and developed Sarah Jane Adventures instead. Thank God! Right? It was the right call, as the series of Young Doctor Adventures would have risked destroying any sense of mystery. Oh, you mean what, like the Timeless Child did, right? Okay, good. Sense of mystery that would around the character for stars. How can you develop a whole show around the Doctor's childhood and not reveal their birth name? I think they could have got away with that. Sure, the Doctor, I think the second nickname from the Armageddon Factor and Happiness Patrol, right? Could prove a decent workaround. But what would his parents call them? What would the parents be like? Would they even be parents, or would they just be looms, right? Which I actually thought was a lot cooler and a lot more interesting. Then, and what then would the stories be like? We would have a young version of the Doctor and the Master running rings around the tutors in the academy and having food fights in the canteen. It sounds like BBC really wanted was Harry Potter with timey-wiminess. That's basically what they got. Like, even Harry Potter is much more detailed and complex than this era of Doctor Who. So thank God. Yeah. No wonder it's a Rusty Davis idea, right? No wonder. That's his stupid idea, man, too. Dr. Tom Baker in the TV movie. One of Philip Seymour's biggest stipulations in the 96 movie was that it maintained continuity of the previous 33 years. So that end, Sylvester McCoy as the Seventh Doctor. Now, was that a good idea or not? I mean, it was something good for fans. I think it ultimately hurt the story. Although, again, I really recommend the 4K project. They have a 4K version of that movie, and it's brilliant, right? It's absolutely brilliant. While that itself was arguably a bad idea for the relaunch of the show, it made more sense than one change suggested by one of the executive producers. Joe Wright, I believe, came on through BBC Video and was like around with Tomb of the Cybermen. They got very good sales from that. Who represented BBC interest in the project, was keen to move away from the slightly negative perception of Sylvester McCoy era. Wright believed that Tom Baker will be a bigger draw as a past Doctor to hand her talk shows. How are you going to do that? What, you're going to skip over Peter Davison and Colin Baker and Sylvester McCoy? Well, I guess they would have done. That might have been true, but not least because Baker's best known as a Doctor in the US at the time, but would have been utterly disastrous with Doctor Who continuity, as an older Tom Baker being gunned down in San Francisco would negate the entire 1980s period of the Doctor Who. What would that even mean? Yeah, it's a good question. And when they were bringing back in 2005, the BBC executives just assumed they were going to get Tom Baker to do it. So that's was the right choice. Okay, fine. Yeah, that was a terrible idea. But like, we've had a lot of them. Doctor Fame being behind the Time War. Well, yeah, again, that's because they, already did. When Terry Nathan's estate quibbled over the use of the Daleks in 2005 revival, Rosley David and Robert Sherman came up with new antagonists for season 1, just in case. Contrary to popular belief, Sherman did not just Tipex over Dalek and Wright Cybermen. Rosley Davis created another monster for Tipex. Blimey. That was invented by one of the monkey's mothers. Was it Mike Talks, maybe? I'm not sure. Rosley Davis was created an monster for to use in the first Dalek episode, which briefly was jokingly titled Absence of the Daleks. Called Spheres, these monsters were essentially early versions of Toclafane from the season 3 finale, which means they are a race of evolved future humans inside metal balls that would have been revealed as a terrifying enemy that laid waste to the Time Lords, the Nestines, and the Gulf. Thankfully, Terry Nathan's estate buckled and we got the Daleks. Thank God for that. That is true. It would have been as it should have been from the start, but it's hard to imagine Toclafane being anywhere near as iconic as a Dalek. Well, they weren't, sadly. I mean, I can see they're basically this. They're similar kind of protagonists, right? But I can see why. They're basically the Dalek bulls who were. So that would have been a bad idea. Navalanda's animated series. Oh, man. So they got the last issue of Vault magazine goes into some detail. And yeah, this would have been awful. I know, awful. I know, like I kind of like those 90s cards, like Men in Black. Was it the real Men in Black? Real Ghostbusters. It would have been as close as the real Ghostbusters was to Ghostbusters. Of the various independent production companies wanted to make Doctor Who on a license in the early 1990s, Nelvana got quite close to devising a concept. The Canada-based animation studio developed a Doctor Who cartoon that was sat neatly along the real Ghostbusters of Captain Planet on Saturday mornings. Nevada's animated Doctor Who was a completely reimagined show which turned the Doctor into some kind of crusader for hire. Really? Working at the behest of the Time Lords. The series retained the iconic characters like the Master, Cybermen, Daleks, and good old K9, and dialogue in the scripts and treatments doesn't feel like a Doctor at all. For example, at one point the Doctor tells K9 to cease that infernal barking. I can kind of hear that. Well, the Master was a half man, half cyborg with a robot bird sidekick. It looked modeled after Sean Connery. All right, then. I think it would have been kind of fun. I think it would have been way better than The Devil's Cord, quite frankly. more enjoyable, right? The Doctor was eventually struck down by the BBC. The project was eventually struck down by the BBC. I was right about the Doctor being struck down by the BBC, which is probably for the best, although it's slightly sad that the Doctor Who's time stick weapon wasn't a big Christmas toy for 93. They were in the middle of negotiations with Amblin at the time, with Philip Seagal. The return of Meglos. When were they brought Meglos back? This must be a Rusty Davis idea, right? Remember the Lodger and how a nefarious alien menace that was tied to an abandoned spaceship? Writer Gareth Roberts really had another idea for the episode villain. He wanted to bring back the shape-shifting cactus monster Meglos. That's pretty wild. Who would masquerade as the Doctor and Craig's neighbor, Mrs. Meglos. The cactus creature that in an episode with James Corden talk about annoying pricks. Well, it's quite funny. Well written, sir. Man, James Corden. He's one of the biggest pussies in Hollywood, and I'm not talking about the time when he was in Cats. On one level, Meglos would have worked quite well as a villain. I think he probably would have, actually. The Lodger could have easily assumed forms of people, luring the unsuspecting civilians to their death in Craig's building. That probably would have made that Capaldi episode Knock a lot better as well. But while the return of Meglos amused Stephen Moffat, Nick's idea, because after the Vinovinci and Banacafalata, the Doctor didn't really need any more spiky face aliens. Not only that, but the alien posing as a kindly old lady was basically a plot of Amy's Choice that would have aired a few weeks ago. Okay, that makes much more sense, actually, to dump it. Instead, Moffat suggested that the treatment should be a malfunctioning time machine, something that would return again in this era. It was a much better idea, and the sad choices on the other end of the intercom are far more chilling than a cactus would have been. I'm not sure about that. I kind of like the idea. 5, Rose Tyler Earth Defense. Yeah, they actually had the budget for this. It was ready to go. And Rusty Davis said, "Oh no, we don't want to oversaturate it." Perhaps one of the last times he said something intelligent. One of the Rusty Davis' worst ideas was to develop a Rose Tyler spin-off series that would have aired on BBC One after the end of Doctor Who Series 2. They wanted a special, right? And he basically turned it down. In a 2006 interview in the magazine, Doctor Who magazine, Davis said that the entire show had been given a working title, Rose Tyler Earth, has been commissioned by the BBC and even had been budgeted. The next stage would have been able to secure Billy Piper's involvement, but then Rusty Day began to have second thoughts while he watched the filming of the final scene between the Doctor and Rose and Doomsday. He realized it was a terrible idea to go ahead with the spin-off show. I thought it's just he didn't want to oversaturate it. That's what he said at the time. It spoils Doctor Who if we see Rose. You saw it 2 years later. If we see concrete fact that her life continues to be exciting without the Doctor. Again, we saw her literally 2 years later. Casting out events was definitely the right decision for Doctor Who, especially as Freeman Adjaman had a hard enough time following Billy Piper without a former companion with her own show. I don't think that would have made a difference, frankly. Mark Gatiss Doctor Who revival. Oh man, I think I kind of like this idea, right? I remember it was about in 2002, I think. There was an article, there was a roundtable in Doctor Who magazine with Mark Gatiss, Rusty Davis, Paul Cornell, and a few other people about how they could bring Doctor Who back. So when it was brought back in 2005, it was zippy, vibrant, modern, and faster pace with a breath of fresh air that reinvigorated the Doctor Who for a new generation while staying true to the show's core ethos. If only they did that now, right? If only they did that now. However, things could have been much different. In the early 2000s, future new series writer Mark Gatiss and Gareth Roberts, along with future Doctor Who magazine editor Clayton Hickman, were devising their own reboot. Yeah, I remember this. Instead of introducing a young, energetic Doctor blowing up in a central London department store, their pilot introduced a 60-something Doctor working in an antique shop in a sleepy village. And instead of 13 episodes at 45 minutes, Gatiss wanted to do a 3-part serial totaling 21 episodes. What? You want to do 7 3-part serials totaling 21 episodes? I guess 25 minutes each long, right? Gaddis Roberts and Hickman acknowledged that they were too meek in their Doctor Who pitching, highlighting the ways to save money rather than to sell an exciting adventure series. Wow, they just missed it, right? They just missed their opportunity. It's unlike the version Doctor Who had got off the ground. It would have been fun little curio, much like the TV movie, but it feels like it would have unlikely it would have spooled 19 years of telly. I think that's fair, right? I think that's a pretty fair criticism. Killing off the Brigadier. Oh, I thought that was actually a good idea, and they've done it several times. I mean, honestly, that moment where they really did kill off the Brigadier, when Matt Smith was trying to avoid going to Trenzalore, was it? And he wanted to go and visit Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart instead of doing it, and he goes there and he realizes he's dead. That was a brilliant moment, right? That was an absolutely brilliant moment in TV. So, writer Ben Horowitz really intended to kill the Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart in the 89 serial Battlefield, which would have been a good idea, I think, before realizing he couldn't bring himself to do it. It's just as well as hard to imagine the story, the story that would have had sufficient magnitude to kill off the Doctor's older friend. I think it would have been fine. And they did film his death scene, right? I think they filmed 3 endings. Battlefield is a lot better than people give it credit for, and will make a degree of thematic sense to the end of the Brigadier story there. It's a story about old soldiers and never-ending cycles of war and violence. However, it is poorly directed, means, well, you can, the special edition is much better, meaning that the darkness and the subject matter largely gets lost in the sunny scenery, slapstick battle sequences against them. Well, that's why the special edition is better, because they cut down on that. And the death of the Brigadier would have been an insult. Our own inability to kill the Brig meant that we had to endure the sharp tonal shifts of the Arthurian nights, trampolining over explosions, to the Doctor losing his oldest friend. Instead, the Brig went out as he should have done, peacefully. Who knows if his corpse is still being turned into Cyberman? Man, it worked on paper, died on screen, right? Absolutely died on screen. Doctor Who's Rose Experiment. Doctor's Rose Experiment. Though Boomtown feels like it was always part of Series 1 plan, it was actually a late replacement for the unusual story by Shameless creator Paul Abbott. Abbott worked on an outline for a few weeks, which revolved around the idea that Rose had been created by the Doctor in experiment to find the perfect companion. I remember hearing about this. I do remember hearing about it. First of all, what on earth? Second of all, quite how this would have worked in the context of the rest of the series is anyone's guess. They could have made it work. This is not such a bad idea. That's a pretty huge shift in the Doctor-Rose dynamic, and by the point where we are still 2 episodes left, not to mention Rose's return in season 2. It was not for naught that Abbott had abandoned the project due to other commitments. Russell T Davies wrote Boomtown in space. The Ninth Doctor had a lot of darkness coming off him from the Time War, but going so far as to reveal that he had bred a companion in some twisted experiment seems to say, I don't know. I think that would have worked. I think that could have certainly been made to work. Could have been made to work. Stephen Taylor returns as a cow. Oh, God. This would have been one of the dumbest ideas ever and fits so into the current era, right? Yes, this is a current era idea, so therefore it's a terrible idea. If you're ever in Cardiff very late at night and your heart is in the right place, you can sometimes hear a great Welshman hooting in Tetley's Fueled Delight as he comes up with another insane Doctor Who concept. All of them are bad, Russell. All of them are bad. You need to back off from all of them. Thankfully, not all of Russell's late night brainwaves made it to the show. Oh, that noise Russell T Davies makes is when he comes up with ideas like Captain Jack as the face of dough and Sutek. It's an anagram, which isn't really an anagram. Thankfully, not all of Russell's late night brainwaves have made it into the show. One particular plan was to bring back Peter Purvis in The Giggle, which was so ridiculous that it rightly receives a lot of flack from David Tennant and Phil Collison. I'm glad that somebody at some point pushed back against him, right? During the video commentary at The Giggle, Russell outlined his abandoned plan to have a character in ruminant, a character called the Ruminant, which was a giant cow. So far, Russell D. Davies, but the giant cow would later whip up his mask, like something out of Scooby-Doo, to reveal it was none other than the first Doctor companion, Stephen Taylor, returning to help the Doctor fight the toy maker. Again, it fits seamlessly into this era in that it's shit. Even in an episode as insane as a Guild, the Ruminant is clearly a step too far. It's all a step too far, right? Look, Yasmin Finney was a step too far. Thankfully, we got Stephen and Vicky's Tales and TARDIS. And again, TARDIS Tales completely destroyed the reveal of the memory TARDIS. And I finally worked out what the memory TARDIS is now. It's like the thing that Millie remembered somehow using unit technology. Which was much better. Not a cow insight. Man, they are terrible ideas, right? They are absolutely mind-meltingly terrible ideas. You know what else is an absolutely mind-melting terrible idea? Trusting Neil Gaiman in any way, shape, or form. Neil Gaiman, uber woke Neil Gaiman, who couldn't tell the difference between a big black woman and a white goth girl, because they're all the same thing to him. He's like, oh, something to assault. I'll go for that. It's always just to cover up their being a perv, right? Now, in all fairness, these are allegations. These are not convictions. Sound creator Neil Gaiman accused of sexual assault. Accusations come on the same day the popular Sandman series starts filming season 2. Well, that sounds like it was premeditated then, right? In the same day season 2 goes in production, the prolific writer is accused of sexual assault by 2 women, a former nanny and a fan. Okay. So we got, who's in the second? We've got Orpheus, India Mora's Wanda. I kind of remember that character. Then, Anne Shelley as Nuala. She was a fairy. And Douglas Bruce as Carl Rackan, who was a fairy brother. Freddie Fox as Loki. Okay, it's interesting casting. Lawrence O'Furban as Thor. Jack Gleason as Puck. Oh, that must be from the Midsummer Night's Dream episode, right? And Jack Gleason is what's he called again? From Game of Thrones, Lannister, the evil king. Clive Russell as Odin, and Steve Coogan as the voice of Barnabas. Which one was Barnabas? Oh, that was his owl. I can't remember. Or his Raven. The accusations against a 63-year-old Neil Gaiman are from a 23-year-old and a woman who was 20, when she was 20 years old. Today we released our latest investigation states Tortoise, a British media news site on X, that on X in a series of tweets, author Neil Gaiman has been accused of sexual assault by 2 former partners in the first claim of misconduct first claims of misconduct against him, and is subject to a police complaint in New Zealand. Okay, good day, Bruce. Fine. The account continues. Gaiman's account strongly denies that the allegations of non-consensual sex with women, and says the New Zealand police did not take up his offer for assistance. Okay. Gaiman strongly denies it. New Zealand said that their attempts to speak to key people are ongoing, adding the location of all parties is a consideration. Neil Gaiman left New Zealand at the end of February 22, says Tortoise. Maybe it's connected to that. Right? Well, what was he accused of doing? The allegations span 2 decades and 2 continents and include a rough and non-consensual penetrative sex. Well, thank you for letting me know. The other one came into contact with Gaiman, the best-selling author of The Sandman, Good Omens, and American Gods, as a nanny to his child, and as a fan to his writing, says another tweet. Okay. The women's allegations are reported in a 4-part podcast. The series raises questions about whether Gaiman had reasonable belief in consent for sex, with these women, given their celebrity and their vulnerability and age. I guess so. Fine. Scarlet 23 alleged that Gaiman sexually assaulted her within hours of their first meeting on February 22nd, February 22 in a bath in his New Zealand residence where she worked as a nanny to his child. Tortoise understands that Gaiman's account is that he only cuddled and made out in the bath. What? She was in the bath? Or he was in the bath? And that had established consent for this. His position is that for over 3 weeks, the sexual relationship that followed, they only ever engaged in consensual digital penetration. Bloody hell! I mean, look, that doesn't sound okay. That doesn't sound good, Neil. Right? That doesn't sound good. And this is right. This is when he was dead center in his open marriage. That just fucks people up. Like, men shouldn't be in open marriages. That just fucks people up. I'm sorry. Scarlett alleges that within an otherwise consensual relationship, Gaiman engaged in rough and degrading penetrative sexual acts with her. Oh, tell me more. Tortoise has seen contemporaneous messages, notes, and spoken to friends of Scarlett who talked at the time, which support her allegations. Well, that sounds pretty bad. The second woman, Kay, was 18 when she met Gaiman at a book signing in Sarasota in Florida in 2003. She began a romantic relationship with him when she turned 18, so that's 2005. Gaiman in his mid-40s, but alleges that she submitted to rough and painful sex, which she never wanted to enjoy. Well, okay, this one I'm going to give Neil a pass on, right? If she, I don't know, there's a very strong possibility that it was his impression that she was enjoying it, right? I would give him a pass on. One thing she alleged Gaiman penetrated her despite her asking him not to, as she was suffering from a painful infection. Okay, well, I wind that back then. You're a cunt, right? That's just nasty. Ew. Gaiman's position is that he denies any unlawful behavior with Kay and is disturbed by her allegations. To also understand that Kay's allegations are motivated by a regret over their relationship and that Scarlett was suffering from a condition associated with false memories at a time with the relationship with him, a claim which is not supported by medical records or medical history. Okay. I don't know. Listen. I have a prejudice against Neil Gaiman because he's a woke fuck, right? And I think woke fucks are generally speaking full of shit, right? And I think they're generally speaking just completely and totally full of shit. And really not, they're always lying, right? They are always lying. That's just the impression I get. Fine, let's move on. I guess things will we will find out sooner or later what the truth is. Where now? Where's that other story I wanted? I know it's here somewhere. No. Okay, let me close down some windows. So not that one. We've read this story. We've done this story, right? No, not there. Where is it? Not that one. That's an episode guide. Disney. No. Could it be here? I did was overweight American girl comic inspires Polygon to demand overweight doll. Really? Okay. Is it inbounding into comics? I doubt it's inbounding. Scarlett Johansson calls Jurassic World 4 script so incredible, I cannot express how excited I am. Well, you are a performer. There you go. This is the most important story of the age. Sydney Sweeney blows up the internet with titillating mirror selfies. Within mere hours, the 26-year-old actress is trending on X over 500,000 tweets on Instagram with millions of likes. I mean, it's kind of easy to see why. Okay, so Sydney is currently blowing up, blah, blah, blah. On X alone, Sydney Sweeney is currently trending with over 500,000 tweets. I don't do mirror selfies, but when I do, they are chaotic. She posted on Instagram just 3 hours ago. Man, she is hot. Okay, she is just a very, very, very hot girl. I am just like crazily hot, right? and gets hotter, like with every passing moment. I like how she's leaning into being hot, right? I really do. I think. What she said, best known, Madam Web. This is just very, very hot. I don't know what to tell you, baby. What did you say about her selfies? Mirror selfies? They are chaotic. Look, I'm up for a bit of this chaos, darling. I'm up for a little bit of this chaos. I mean, you're saying chaos is like you're a bouncy castle. It's not a bad thing, baby. Okay, you can stay as chaotic as you like, right? And I will go and see any movie with you in. Other than that, man, yeah, no, she is a sexy woman, right? She is one sexy woman, Sydney Sweeney, and that's why we love her. That's why we love her. Here on my channel, bit of pure cyber filth to make the day go better. Peter Rich says Klaus Schwab has been accused of doing the same thing, and members of his board using the N-word. Yeah, look. Okay, here's how you know what the establishment are doing, right? If they accuse Donald Trump of it, then that means that's what they're doing. Fine with that, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to wrap up. I am back on Tuesday. I'm back on Tuesday for more fun and frivolity. Now, will I? No, I want to save my reviews, and I'm starting next week because I didn't start this week because I was a schmuck. But next week, I'm going to start with my Dr. Alex season 14 reviews, right? I'm going to do a 2-episode one this Saturday. What I'm doing about on Tuesday, I don't know. When I said Matt's doctor is phoning the brig only to find that he died a few days earlier was a tribute to Nicholas Courtney, I think it was, and it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. Loons would explain the orphanage. Yes, it would, right? I like loons in general. What can I tell you? I thought it was a nice idea. Fine with that, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to wrap up. I'm going to hit the end broadcast, but I'm going to hit it again and say good night, good luck, and may your God